The Patriots have selected Drake Maye with the 3rd overall pick. Drake Maye is now a Patriot.
Okay, there we go. So Burt Breer letting you know there on the Burt phone that Drake Maye will be the Patriots' future quarterback here as they are going to take him with the 3rd overall pick. Again, Drake Maye is a New England Patriot with the 3rd overall pick. So was there any anticipation there? Was there anything there in the minutes leading up to where you thought, you know what, maybe they will trade out of this, or do we feel pretty confidently this is the direction that
all the conversations I had today indicated that nobody had stepped to the plate. Now it'll be fascinating to find out, which I'm sure Albert will try to do, from the Vikings people. Just what was your offer? What did the Giants and Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen offer? And to me, it's interesting too, Brian, if a guy like Daboll or Kevin O'Connell is sniffing around the hindquarters of Drake Maye, should that make the Patriots even more convinced that Drake Maye is their quarterback?
Well, I think that helps. I think those are guys who, we talk about, quarterback-minded coaches, so if they're looking at him and saying, wow, that's the guy I want, I think that's obviously beneficial, but that's also them believing in him, how they can coach him, too.
Is this, it feels like everyone's in consensus this is the right move? I know that there were some entertaining there that they could trade down, but they should feel good about this.
I think now, the thing is just doing right by the kid. Right. I think that's the most important thing. So many of these guys get screwed up because they're in bad environments. And I've said it before, there are very few guys who are good enough to overcome bad circumstances. I think Andrew Luck might be one example, but they ruined him in the end. If you look at a lot of the guys, and I'm not saying Mahomes wouldn't have gotten there, or Allen wouldn't have gotten there, or Burrow wouldn't have gotten there, but what you see with those guys is consistent, good coaching, good players around them. And so now it's on the Patriots to do the rest of the job, which is surround the kid with a good environment so he can grow in the right way.
I think he's built well for New England, too. I think when we talk about all the elements of these first-round picks and the latter-day quarterbacks and the new generation, I said earlier tonight on Early Edition, how many of the tweets that you've seen from Drake Maye make you go, oh, man? 0, because I don't think you've ever seen a Drake Maye tweet. I think he is built to be here in terms of he's not rabbit-eared, he's not enmeshed with social media. Brian, you've been in the league. You are still in the league. You haven't retired yet. What is the makeup necessary to play quarterback in New England with this climate?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think everything you touched on, I think you have to come to work as a young guy with a veteran in the room already, learn from him, put the work in, show the guys that you're putting the work in. Because really, when you're 21 years old and you're walking into a room full of men, the best way to earn the respect is to go out there and show them. Go be there early, stay late, be in the meetings. When it comes to OTAs, call the play clearly, execute the play, and just stack them, one after another. And I think you build that foundation, and like Bert said, do right by the kid. Don't rush him. And if he progresses, I think that was the thing that I saw as Mac's rookie year was he progressed day after day. And I remember thinking, man, they must be telling him, hey, on this play, throw it here, or this is the coverage, because he did so well and he progressed. And the guys were like, wow, we can see him being our quarterback. So, does Drake Maye come in and do that? I don't know. Mac came from a very pro-style offense. He was coached really well. I don't know. But if he does, then you progress him. But if not, then you let him sit there, you learn, and, you keep building those building blocks. And then whenever it comes, then the time comes.
The Name to Know is presented by John Stewart Drain Cleaning. The name to know when the drains don't flow. And telling you all about Drake Maye, the youngest of 4 brothers in an athletic family. His father played quarterback. He was an All-American. Brother Luke Maye played basketball at North Carolina. And so he will be, of course, the future quarterback here of the New England
Felger on this. I need to hear from
That's
Felger,
what we're
Hawley,
going to do.
Johnson.
We're sending it right over to him.
Quarterback.
We're sending it right over to him right now. Mike?
All right. We're here. Drake Maye is a New England Patriot. How do we feel about it? Ted Johnson, how do you feel about it?
Look,
Drake Maye's the guy.
I'm okay with it. Look, I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, you trade back, you get a bunch of picks, you get a big haul, and you get Michael Penix. That would be my number 1 choice. I think Michael Penix is going to, over time, will show you that he's the better quarterback. But they needed to come away with a quarterback. They got, I think. The safest pick. I mean, I think it's what most of the fans wanted. It's what most people think has the highest upside over J.J. McCarthy. And so, to me, it was the safest pick. And I'm okay that they came away with the quarterback. It's just not the quarterback I wish they would have gotten. Well, but nonetheless, they had to get a quarterback, Mike.
It's the safest play in the court of public opinion. Most Patriots fans wanted them to stick and take Drake Maye, so they've made fans happy. So it's safe like that. more people think that J.J. McCarthy's a safer player, higher floor.
Right.
So I don't know if it was the safest actual player that they could have taken. I'm okay with it, too. Again, you just were a bad team. You had the 3rd pick, so you took the 3rd quarterback. And now you're going to hand him to your linebackers coach and JAG offensive coordinator with not much of a roster. It's really not a recipe for success. So, the whole thing, I'm not all that high on. I see his traits. I see his size. I see what he can do. A lot of the upside word is absolutely that. He's a big play guy. Should be interesting. But, yeah.
I'm excited about it. I've been talking about it for about a month. 2 words. And they finally came through. I kept saying, take Drake. Take Drake. So I think they went through their mock debates. Hey, what would it be like if we took J.J. McCarthy there at 3? What would it be like if we traded back and took McCarthy at 7 or 8 or whatever it is? Maybe we get our, Michael Penix in your plan, Ted. But I think after you just crunch all the numbers and you put it all together, Drake Maye, it's not really a safe pick because of all the work that he has to do. And, Ted, you ain't got 5 years to figure this out. So let's say Drake Maye, let's say this is a redshirt year. And let's say you go 6-11. You're still on the clock. It's still the NFL. It's not like you're like, oh, yeah, we'll just take our time. It's not safe. The safer pick is to take Michael Penix, who's 35 years old and is ready to play right now. That's the safer one because he's ready to play now. No. But Drake Maye is going to be better than Michael Penix.
It's the safest pick because it's the pick that everybody expected the Patriots to take at this pick. And I also think that they've been preaching patience. They want to take their time. They're picking a kid that they know that they're not going to play right away because they got us all convinced this is going to take a long time to rebuild this thing up. So he kind of fits that.
But who's saying that? They're not saying. But nobody's saying that.
Everybody's saying.
Robert Kraft at the owners' meeting said, "I hope we don't struggle. I hope we're good." Hey, we got a good team. I think we got a good team. That's Robert Kraft saying that. He said that.
Are you? But you also hear them say it's going to take time.
I don't believe it, but he said it.
Well, look, I'm hearing more people say that, hey, have patience. It's going to take time. This rebuild isn't going to happen overnight. And to me, Drake Maye just kind of fits that perfectly for them. When I say safest, I just think it was the obvious choice is to take Drake Maye. So that's why I say it was the safest pick. To me, if you wanted to really have some guts and really show something, you would have traded back and maybe taken J.J. McCarthy a little bit later, gotten more draft picks or Michael Penix. I'm just not so sure that they were like 100% sold on this guy. To me, it was the safest pick in the court of public opinion, which the owner's a big fan.
Sure, but you say guts. Do you really think you think that J.J. McCarthy is a better quarterback than Drake Maye?
Later. I'm saying later in the draft. Not at number 3. Not number 3, Drake Maye's the obvious
but let's
choice.
say take draft position.
I think J.J. McCarthy's closer than most do. I think Tommy said last week he'd take J.J. McCarthy over.
And I've watched him a lot. I just don't see it with J.J. McCarthy. I don't see it. I've watched I've watched all of those 28 games, unfortunately, of his career, 27-1. Look, good quarterback, but I think Maye also, and this is why I like him, because we've heard so much about his problems, but we haven't heard what he does well. He's got all the traits, and he has done more with less compared to, and I heard Brian say, yeah, he liked Jaden Daniels. Okay, Jaden Daniels, good for him, left Arizona State and got himself into a perfect situation where Malik Neighbors' name is going to be coming up tonight pretty soon. That's a first-round pick. Brian Thomas Jr., his name's going to be coming up soon. That's a first-round pick. And Brian Kelly as your head coach. Pretty good situation. And you're 24. So what is Drake Maye going to look like at 24 when he has more around him? It's just like, I think he has done everything he could with the situation he's in.
Let me ask you this. What do you think are his top 2 qualities? You say, okay, Drake Maye is the best at these 2 things. What would you say they are?
Throwing the football. Arm strength.
Arm strength?
Arm strength, yes.
And what would be the other thing?
Probably intelligence.
Really?
Yes, intelligence. He doesn't play smart.
I was going to say, if you watch him play, nothing about his play
in terms of interview, like comportment, like the way he handles himself, the way he's done it, and nobody's complained about the way he has conducted himself with interviews, his knowledge of football. He hasn't been able to put it together yet. At 21, Ted.
Well, that's part of the equation. 21.
He's got to learn.
Okay, well, at the expense of all of us watching him kind of figure it out over years.
You know what I would say? I know it's the 3rd pick overall, and you want him to play. I'd say Just take your time, baby. Take your time. Don't rush in there.
That's what they're telling all of us. Take our
I'm saying with him.
Don't. But that's by drafting him. They're going to be telling us the same messages. Before the draft, you had Jerod Mayo saying, hey, it's going to take time with this kid. So they're all got us conditioned that this thing is going to take time. And that's what's frustrating to me. It shouldn't take this much time.
But it's not conditioning. It's the reality. Okay, what are the 3 biggest needs tonight for the Patriots? Quarterback, left tackle, wide receiver. You blew quarterback royally. You screwed up the pick. You screwed up the situation. Wide receiver, you haven't drafted a good wide receiver since Deion Branch.
Yeah.
Deion Branch.
2002.
Okay. And then left tackle, you had this toxic relationship. I think Taylor Swift did a song about it, the relationship between the Patriots and Trent Brown. It's just bad relationship stuff. He couldn't get that right, and that's why we're here tonight. So it's not conditioning, it's the reality.
Felger?
I'm not sure what you're asking or what you're trying to say. I think Drake Maye's got a long way to go in a place that people sort of hate, which is game management. People use it as a pejorative, game manager, game manager, game manager. In the games that I watched Drake Maye, I went back and watched it the last month, you know, his team's a mess, and he was kind of a mess along with it. Like, there were games they couldn't get lined up. They couldn't snap the ball in time. He didn't do anything to settle them down. Again, big play guy. He can sort of float around off his back foot and, you know, flick it 40 yards and make that play. But when he needed them in the games that I saw, for him to settle everything down and maybe just take a check down or call a timeout or, like, just settle at the line, he's not there. So, like, I know people, like, look down on game managers. I think that's where he needs it the most.
Look, I got to say this first. To me, the top 2 qualities, if for so long we were told around here, and I believe it, is accuracy and intelligence. You say he's intelligent, but I don't watch the games and think he's intelligent. He might be intelligent off field or just, you know, but I don't see him processing intelligently. I don't see him making good decisions, and I don't see his accuracy where it needs to be. Big arm, athletic. Okay, super inconsistent.
Well, I just want to point out,
extremely inconsistent.
Give me an accurate quarterback that's
take it for what it's worth. This is the last thing I'll say, and I want to hear what Brian Hoyer has to say. According to Pro Football Focus, last year, between the college hashes, he had the #1 rating in college football of 94, over 94. Number one. Now that I didn't make that up.
Between the hashes. So he's a good passer over the middle.
Over the middle.
That's the easiest throw to make is over the middle.
Is it?
Are you kidding me? Ask Brian Hoyer. Hey, Brian, you know, that's why they love throwing their tight ends over the middle. That's the easiest throw to make. Well, can I get a good passer outside the numbers in this cold weather where you got to make plays on the sidelines? I would hope that he's a better passer over the middle than he is outside the numbers.
#1 in college football last year.
That's not saying a whole lot, in my opinion.
Not saying a whole lot. Six quarterbacks are going to go in this draft, and he was the top one when it came to that particular metric.
What does Hoyer say? Go ahead.
Well, the inside throws are the easiest throws. The only thing is in the NFL, it gets there's tighter windows. So those are going to be tougher throws. I agree with Ted. Like, it's a safe pick because, you know, it's a new era. The fan base wants a quarterback, and they draft the one who has the most upside. And I think that's what it is. You're drafting Drake Maye for his upside. You're not drafting him for really what he did in college. I think, you know, you're kind of hitting that on the head. He's inconsistent. His footwork's off, all of those things. But the things that he flashes, that's what you're drafting, and then you have to stay true and say it's going to take time. We're going to coach him the right way. And then along with that, you have to believe in the coaching that he's going to get. I do think, and I know I keep talking about Jacoby, my relationship with him, just watching Jacoby's work ethic, watching how he approaches the game, how he studies, you know, how he works on his craft, I think that will be a godsend for Drake, and he's got to pay attention. So I think, you know, you're drafting upside. Everybody's got to be patient, and I think that's the one thing in this league is everyone says they'll be patient, and then 2 years down the road, the quarterback's benched, the coach is fired, the GM's fired. That's just the way it goes. That's how I've seen it happen a million times. So how patient are you really going to be? I think that's the most important thing.
How much would you put on Drake Maye for some of the things that I saw it in the NC State game and Clemson? So those are 2 games that I watched. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I'm guessing this number. They might have taken 12 offensive pre-snap penalties, motion, delay a game, false starts. How responsible is the quarterback for that, to settle them down?
Yeah, I mean, look, we always say everything starts with you at the quarterback position. If people are jumping off sides, if they can't get lined up, all of those things. Now, the reality is the other 11, the 10 guys have to do their job too. I remember as a rookie, I prayed everybody knew where to line up because I had to study, the mic point, the reads, where's the blitz coming from? Like, Julian, you better line up. I remember him looking at me and being like, where do I go? I'm like, over there. I'm almost positive, but you got to figure it out. I'll probably get yelled at if you're wrong, but like, you got to do your job too. So as a young quarterback, you're going to have to navigate all of those things, and ultimately, when there's misalignments, there's false starts, it all comes back on the quarterback. So you got to take responsibility for that.
All right, let's get to some Patriots reaction. We have the head coach and de facto GM at the podium. Let's go to it.
Throughout the process, we had a good process with all these quarterbacks and all these players in the draft, and we really started to feel comfortable with Drake. Obviously the game film was really good, but we started to feel comfortable with him as we spent more time with him and visited with him at North Carolina.
What's one thing you learned different about Drake while you guys met with him at the Pro Day or Combine?
Really just getting a chance to know him, see what he's about, see what his family's about, and getting him on the board and seeing his high football intellect.
What, if any, sort of trade offers were on the table for you guys?
We had some conversations with other teams, but ultimately we felt like Drake was the player that we wanted, and we had the opportunity to get him.
When did those trade offers kind of stop, like when you knew that you wanted to keep the players out there?
A really long time ago. When did it's two separate. The trade offers, I don't want to say they were constant, but there were different points throughout the process where there were trades. But all along, we knew we were in a unique opportunity here to get a quarterback that we liked, and we were obviously able to do that.
Jerod, did you say that you had to be convinced not to take Drake? I think you guys still had time on the clock. You didn't let it go all the way down when you made the pick, right?
Look, we had time to think through the process. We went through various scenarios with the coaches and scouts, even going back to the collaborative approach that we did this time. And I would say the organization was happy with Drake at 3. So.
Jerod, Eliot mentioned the trip to North Carolina for his pro day. You guys sent a big staff out there. What did you learn from him, or what were your takeaways from that trip?
First and foremost, I would say, just getting a chance to spend time with Mac Brown and asking him questions about Drake really helped me get the full picture. Look, this guy is very competitive. He would literally, miss one question and he'll be on himself about it. But we like that competitive nature, that striving for perfection, and he showed us that.
Jerod and/or Eliot, is Drake Maye a quarterback you feel can start right away, or someone that you think needs some time to develop?
Yeah, I think, to go back to Bill, I don't think many rookies are ready to just jump in and play. And look, at the end of the day, our philosophy is the best players will play. And, coming in as a rookie, hopefully he's a sponge. There are a lot of good players in that locker room. And look, Jacoby, he understands. Like, he's a mentor. He's very smart, has great leadership skills, and hopefully Drake can learn something from him as well. But I would say, we're going to compete all spring. We're going to compete during training camp, and the best player will start. Darker blue will look better for sure. The light blue only on Jordans, but.
Eliot, you said that he elevates his teammates. How did that stand out to you, particularly in times of adversity?
Yeah, not to take anything away from anyone else in the program, but the game was on his shoulders for them. They have some talented players, talented running backs and receivers, but he really was able to elevate them and make them into what they could be.
Eliot, how did you work through some of the bad tape this year? Obviously, his freshman year, redshirt freshman year was outstanding. They lost a lot of people. There was talk about his footwork. How did you sort of work through that? And was he part of you working through or talking to him and sort of getting his feel for what happened? Yeah,
that's a good question. So, meeting with Coach Van Pelt, Coach McAdoo, Coach McCartney, and just kind of talking through some of the things that, some of the development he needed, some of the things that they thought they could tighten up or fix in some cases. And at the end of the day, we felt comfortable with those things and really betting on the talent and the kid. Like, Drake's a relentless worker from all the indications that we have, and he's going to be able to overcome some of the things in the areas that he needs to improve.
For Eliot and Jerod, now that you have a young quarterback on the roster, what do you guys think you need to do to support him and make it what's best for him when everything's developing?
Yeah, I think I'll take that one.
Yeah, right. That's why I look at you like this.
Yeah. I just think we need to support him any way we can, on the field, off the field. We need to add some weapons to the offense. We need to shore up the offensive line. We have good players already at those positions, but really just increasing the depth and the competition. Like Jerod mentioned, that competition is going to be at every position.
Eliot, how would you characterize the casting plays throughout this process?
They've been very supportive throughout, and it helps that Jerod and I have been on the same page for almost everything so far, which I know won't continue, but hopefully it continues, until we have some adversity here and then through that. But they've been very supportive.
I'll win that fight if it's physical.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Eliot, when did you guys know Drake was your guy outside of a trade? Like, in what part of the process did that?
I don't know if there was one moment. Do you have a...
No, honestly, the more exposures we had with Drake, the more comfortable we felt. And honestly, not to talk about other players, but those top three guys, we were comfortable with all three of those guys, and it just happened to be Drake. And he's definitely he has a lot of potential, and we have a lot of coaches, and we have to develop him.
Either or, both. This is a tough market. People have been accustomed to a high caliber of football for a long time. If there is a period of development, what gave you the sense that he's ready to handle all the scrutiny that comes with the position, playing in New England, your sense about his wherewithal and circumstances?
Yeah, he was one of the only quarterbacks in this draft that went up there after every loss and handled the media. Not that the Chapel Hill media is as tough as you guys are, but he handled it with grace, with class. Watching those press conferences, there were a lot of times where the reporters were trying to get him to throw somebody under the bus, and he wouldn't do it. He's a 21-year-old kid, but he's very mature and understands what it means to be a leader.
Jerod, you talked over the...
Say that again, sorry.
What was the biggest surprise for both of you guys, maybe over the last couple of weeks leading up to tonight?
Really just all the scrutiny. I think with so many quarterbacks being so high in the draft that there was a lot of, for lack of a better word, BS out there about this guy or that guy, and a lot of rumors and innuendos and things that just didn't end up being true. But we stayed the course. We were on the same page, and it was really a really good process for us.
Jerod, you talked to Drake having an extremely high ceiling. To you, if he hits that ceiling, what does it mean for the future of the franchise?
It means a lot, But look, let me go back a couple of questions ago. We're not sitting here saying that Drake is our starting quarterback. I think he understands that. He understands the things that he has to get better at. And, with coaching and, once again, the hard work and the coaches that we have, the support system from ownership, I think he has a chance to go out there and really play at a high level. You can talk about potential all you want to. Until you reach it, it really doesn't matter. But we do know the man. We know the man is a hard worker, and he's going to do everything he can to be successful.
Well, you said last month that Drake really impressed you during the combine meeting. What was it that really impressed you?
Yeah, just his composure. And I would also say, a lot of teams, they put up all the good plays of players. Eliot and his group, they put a tape together that had a lot of bad plays. And honestly, he took a lot of that blame on himself, even when sometimes it wasn't his fault. But a very accountable man, and can't wait to get to work with him.
Did you guys have any hesitancies in selecting him?
No.
No.
Jerod, you talked about his floor at the league meetings. How much did his floor scare you?
I wouldn't say it scared us. Everyone was focusing on the ceiling, and obviously Drake has a high ceiling. But the floor is, like, if everything goes wrong, which we don't anticipate to happen, what does that look like? We were very comfortable as we continue to go through the process. We watched years of this guy playing football, and we feel good about the pick.
Eliot, if we don't...
earlier comments, does it sound like had Washington taken Drake at number 2, you would have been comfortable taking Jay Daniels with you in the third pick?
That wasn't really something that kind of came up. We knew a long time ago that Washington was going with Daniels, so we were able to, make our pick, and we're really happy about that.
How long ago?
Weeks.
Eliot, can you talk about, if you guys don't trade up, we don't see you again tonight, we don't talk, can you talk about just having one piece now out of this draft? Because obviously you talked about weaponizing the offense. You guys know you need a lot, right?
Yeah, we have 7 more picks, and, we'll probably move around a little bit, hopefully acquire some more picks. But we feel strongly about the board, and we'll kind of see how it goes here. There's a lot of other players that are lot of good players that are going to come off the board before our next one. So we'll just kind of see how it goes here. Yeah, I'm trying to see who's going where.
Eliot, I just
Ideally,
wanted to.
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously, with your experience in previous organizations and taking time developing the quarterback, I know this question was asked earlier, but is there not so much a timetable, but when do you think you guys, and maybe this is more geared towards you, Jerod, when do you have a sense you guys will have a better idea of when he might be ready to play? I mean, people try to put timetables on that, but obviously you guys.
Yeah, I think you just answered the question. They try to put timetables on it, but you just never know when that time's going to be. And if you look over the history of the league, sometimes guys, they can go in there and start game one and have a Pro Bowl season. Then other guys, they sit for 2 or 3 years and they have a great season or a great career, but it can also go the other way, right? You sit for 2 years and have a terrible career. I think it's hard to really put a timeline on when he will be ready. And once again, look, I don't want you guys to forget about the quarterbacks that we have on our roster, and it's about competing, and it's about going out there every day striving to get better.
For Eliot and Jerod, this is a different feel, obviously, to the draft room this year, so be able to make the call and make the pick and turn it in. What was the feeling like when you were able to do that?
Yeah, just for me, it was a lot of excitement. Been waiting a long time for the moment to, be able to sit here with someone like Jerod and just kind of collaborate and try to do what's right for the organization. But there's a lot of excitement in the draft room from the scouts and the coaches and just kind of, the new direction that we're taking the team.
Jerod, there are a lot of fans upstairs that you addressed a little bit earlier. Now that you've made this pick, what's your message to Patriots Nation right now?
Look, we still have holes that we need to fill. We still have a lot of draft capital. What I will say is, the most important thing is the guys coming out here working each and every day. So I know a lot of people are writing us off, but we'll see when it comes to the fall.
Eliot, before you made that pick, I'm curious, your father, any word of advice, or was there any moment you shared with him?
Not before the pick. I mean, I talked to him a couple times today, and it was really just trust your instinct and try to do what's right for the Patriots.
You said you knew a couple weeks ago that Washington was going to take Jake. So have you guys known for a couple weeks that Drake was your guy?
Yeah, it was pretty obvious at that point. Yeah.
What was Robert's last reaction? When was he kind of let in on all, knowing that Drake was going to come in, and kind of what was his reaction to that?
I would say this morning. We've talked a bunch of times about the different different things that could happen, and this morning, and he's excited. He got the opportunity to talk to Drake on the phone when we picked him, and they had a nice conversation, and I think he's excited as well.
What areas of Drake's game do you both want to see him attack early? I understand there's a lot of kind of onboarding, downloading to be done for anyone.
A guy like Drake, look, he has all the natural ability that you want. He can make all the throws. Really, it's about getting into the playbook, right? It's going to be a different scheme. One thing about our playbook offensively, we're going to be a game plan offense, and we're going to tailor our offensive game plan to whoever the quarterback is. And we'll see how that pans out, but excited to get him out there with the guys and the coaches.
Was there one thing on tape that you were that wowed you?
Yeah, one thing about Drake, and we kind of talked about it this past year, they also had some holes on offense. And the thing that most impressed me about him, he would get smacked and just get right back up, right? And that's the same trait. You had a guy like Tom Brady, not saying that he's Tom, but just that mentality. Same thing with Joe Burrow. Those guys just keep getting back up and continue to play at a high level. And that was that aha moment for me.
Are you preparing the defense absolutely chirp at him though, all of training camp and all that?
We chirp all the time. We chirp all the time. But, it does get competitive. And right now we have the spring to, kind of get some things done. We'll have a couple extra weeks with the rookies. We'll see how the rest of the draft class plays out. But this is a big one for us. And, I'm very happy. I'm very excited to be in this position.
And he is the face of the franchise for the New England Patriots. Drake Maye going 3rd overall to the Patriots here on the 2024 NFL Draft. We're on the clock. Tom Giles, Tommy Kern, Phil Perry, Brian Hoyer, Burt Breer with us. And we just heard from Eliot Wolf as well as Jerod Mayo. And by the way, Drake Maye is going to talk in about 10 minutes. We'll be bringing that to you live when it happens. But what stuck out to you first and foremost hearing from Eliot Wolf and Jerod Mayo?
What sticks out to me is a point that Brian Hoyer was making earlier. You take the 3rd overall pick of the draft. You should be looking at a player who's going to be able to play early. We all understood that Drake Maye might need some seasoning, but that's the crux of the issue when you draft Drake Maye. he's not going to be ready to play right away. It's going to take some time. And Jerod Mayo made that comment. He redirected the conversation back to, guys, don't expect to see him back out there. And that's why I look at the opportunity to trade down and get a tackle who could play right away, perhaps a wide receiver who could play right away, another guy next year, if you went with Minnesota, who could play right away, and maybe even a Pro Bowl level player from Minnesota. So you're giving up 4, conceivably, on the high end, players who might be able to contribute for you in order to have one guy who's going to sit at the outset. It's the Patriots are asking for a lot of patience, and they're kind of asking to have it both ways.
It shouldn't matter. If the quarterback's that good, you should be more than willing to waste or rest or dial back and not expect the team to contend, because whether or not he's on the field, this team is not winning anything this coming year. If he needs to sit out to develop so that by year 2 or 3 you are a championship team when the roster is more ready to truly compete and contend, 1 year and a rookie salary of a quarterback is not a terrible thing to waste. I understand. It's the biggest advantage in pro sports, having a good quarterback on a rookie contract. I get it. It's more important to have a capable franchise caliber quarterback in your building for the long term and develop him properly than it is to get the most out of him in year 1. This team isn't winning anything, Brian, this year. Whether or not he plays, whether or not they have a really good quarterback here or not, the situation just isn't set up for that. I think fans should be more than willing to wait a year. If it takes that long, it might not. Maybe it's a half a year. So let this guy develop properly so that he can pay dividends moving forward over the course of the long haul.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the thing that, I would say is stick to the patience, because like you said, you don't want to throw him out there where he's not ready and then it just goes downhill. And to Michael Hawley's point, like he referenced the Detroit Lions. Well, now you're going to kind of have to do it in reverse, because you're bringing in the young quarterback and now you got to bring in the talent around him. Whereas Detroit, they had a veteran guy and people had kind of written off Jerod Goff, but he went there and kind of revived his career, much to the fact that he was surrounded by a really good team. And so now you got to go and build that team around Drake Maye, even though he's not playing. So is that you trade back into the first round and get a playmaker, receiver or a tackle or something that you're going to have to do to build this team up around him. Because to me, playing quarterback in the NFL, it's all about the situation you're in. If you go to a great team and maybe you're a later first-round pick, but you go to a better team, like look at Patrick Mahomes. Albert and I were just talking about, like, he didn't have his first start till the 16th game. They were already a pretty good team. Alex Smith played that whole year. And then he comes in his second year and goes to the AFC Championship game because of the team around him. So I don't think the Patriots are anywhere near that type of team right now, and having played against them last year, I know they're not. So
and beating them.
Yeah, and to me, like there's so many other holes, and you hear Eliot, say it. You got to fill those holes and try to fill them now, maybe while Drake's not playing yet. So eventually when he gets there.
They need to be intensely aggressive, though, because as I laid it out, that there's conceivably 4 starters, 3 this year conceivably, if you had gotten a player and 2 other guys. Okay. You could have conceivably 3 starters this year you just passed up with for a guy who's going to be getting seasoned for the rest of the season. Now, to me, that's an interesting decision to make. And it's a dicey decision.
If you have a quarterback you think could be the guy for 10 years, who cares if you sit him for 1 if you're going to be
nobody?
Championship?
But I'm saying this is the bar you have to clear, Phil.
Maybe
you have
4
to
starters.
be by 3.
You have to hit on those other picks,
You have to be by the 3rd year of your career a really good player. Can't be, he's getting better.
Well,
We're 8 and 9.
That's what they think he is. I agree with you there. If they don't think that he has the ability to do that, then what are you doing taking him? I'm just saying year 1 versus
I'm not saying
3 first-round picks.
What you've done is you've turned your back on that possibility.
I don't understand it's not even a question to me. There's so much more value in having the right quarterback than having
4 starters?
Maybe a tackle, maybe a receiver, maybe a wide. You're not locking in the fact that you're going to be able to hit on all those positions. We've seen the numbers. It's far from a sure thing.
Sure.
So you're rolling that you could end up with Isaiah Wynn and N'Keal Harry, and you might have passed on the Josh Allen light.
Sorry to cut you guys off. Drake Maye is talking right now. Let's go to Drake Maye.
Hi, Drake.
You going on? What's up? You doing all right?
Is our media okay here?
Yeah, y'all got me? Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Sweet, man. Let's go, baby. What's up, guys? What's up? I got a room up there. I see y'all in the top corner. Sweet. How I look? Y'all can see me or no?
Yes. We can see you.
Perfect. All right. Let's go. Don't fire away at once.
Go ahead and start with your questions.
Drake, what is your reaction?
I'm stoked. I'm super pumped. Can't wait to get up to New England. I'm looking so much, so forward to it, and just an awesome moment to get here with my family and friends. One of the best nights of my life, and can't wait to get up there and get started and get to work.
Drake, the Patriots, Eliot Wolf said he's known for a couple weeks now that they were going to take you at 3. When did you know that the Patriots were going to take you, or was this a surprise?
Yeah, when I heard that phone ring right beside me, I had the ring down phone, the old school phone right beside me at the draft. Once that rang, it was just it rang real early, right at 10 minutes, right when the clock was Patriots on the clock. I heard it started ringing, and it was just kind of one of the moments I'll remember forever and I'll cherish. I think my mom grabbed that phone and took it with her, so we'll remember that forever.
Did she let you have any words with the conversation, or was she the one who picked up the phone?
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought she was. No, she let me, pick it up, and it was a little tough to hear, but no, it was great. You could hear him pretty clear.
Drake, who is with you in Detroit?
Yeah, I got my 3 older brothers, 3 of my best friends. They, even my oldest brother Luke, he plays basketball overseas in Japan. He flew back, yesterday and made it in for the trip. My 2 parents, a longtime girlfriend, and 10 of my friends and family, came up and just as a surprise, yesterday. So awesome night. Can't wait. I know they're excited. We got a whole bunch of Patriots fans now, so I'm excited to see that.
Drake, what stood out to you about the Patriots in the pre-draft process?
Yeah, I think, went up on the 30 visit, just not only the history on the wall, but, kind of just the motto there, work ethic, grind it out. The Patriots has been a dynasty and, one of the best areas, best sports towns. I think it's the best, in the country. I'm so looking forward to getting up there, getting to see it, getting to see Gillette Stadium, and just looking forward to that. I think that's kind of what Coach Mayo preached. He's such a player's coach. I can see how, all the guys, can attract to him, and look forward to playing for him and meeting everybody else.
Did you have any conversations with players that are currently on the Patriots, and have you heard from them yet tonight?
Yeah, I have. I got to know actually Jacoby Brissett over the summer. Connor McDermott, I got to meet him at the Super Bowl, and then I've who else on the Patriots? Gonzo a little bit. The DB, and other than that, I'm just excited to meet everybody else, and can't wait to get in that locker room. I remember walking through it, and they got a basketball hoop in there in the locker room that I was shooting at. That's what I remember. So can't wait to get up there and meet the rest of the guys, and just kind of get going.
You mentioned Jacoby Brissett. What's your feelings about getting to be in a quarterback room with him?
Yeah, awesome. He's been so many different places, so many different offenses. I think he's been in this offense before with Coach Van Pelt. Just looking forward to getting to learn from him. I know he's an old guy, old vet, so I know he's looking forward and he can still play. So I'm looking forward to help contribute in any way, and I just looking forward to getting to see him. And I know he's the man.
Drake, you mentioned you got to know Jacoby last summer. Where did you guys meet?
Yeah, I've met him through Sam Howell, back when he was with the Commanders. So I had to meet them through, mutual friends. They're great buddies, and Sam speaks so highly of him. And so I got to meet Jacoby, and looking forward to being in the same room again.
You mentioned Alex Van Pelt. You mentioned Alex Van Pelt too before. Did you get to meet him when you were up here? And what do you know about the offense, and what are you looking forward to running his system?
Yeah, I got to meet Coach, and maybe met first time at the formal interview at the Combine. He was asking some questions, and then went up there for the 30 visit and went through some of the film, outside zone scheme, and they like to throw it around. He was showing some clips and play action stuff with Rodgers back in the day in Green Bay. So I'm looking forward to being in that offense. I know they have had a lot of success in the past, and just look forward to kind of finding my way to best contribute to the Pats Nation.
Drake, there's a lot of NFL analysts who would say that the Patriots situation for a rookie quarterback, if it's not the worst, is one of the worst. How do you feel about the situation that you're going into here?
I think they're wrong. I think they had that defense last year. Had a lot of teams at low points, and looking forward to helping anyway in the offensively, and just looking forward to being there with Coach Mayo in his first year. Congrats to him, and I think anybody who's saying that, I think hopefully we'll find out this season. Just gonna work hard with the guys, and hope prove them wrong.
We're going to pause for just a second and take a couple questions off here. We'll come back to the room. We'll go with Ian Steele. How do we activate? Yeah.
Thanks, Stacey. Drake, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
First of all, congratulations. Welcome to New England in a couple hours. When people think of the New England Patriots and they think of quarterback, they think of Tom Brady. What do you think of Tom Brady and following in his footsteps now?
Yeah, Tom Brady's the GOAT. know, it's easy to say that. He's the best that ever played this game. I'm not going to be Tom Brady. So I'm just going to try to be Drake Maye. And from there, I'm just trying to learn from him, hopefully get to know him a little bit. And other than that, just try to, soak it up and be a sponge and try to learn all I can from him. And he's the man in that town. So
next, we'll go with Doug Kyde.
Hey, Drake, welcome to New England. Congrats on getting picked 3rd overall. I just wanted to know a little bit more about what the Patriots first brought up in your combine interview with them when you were going over, in those 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think the first thing, you just get to know me, was the first thing. Asked me some background questions, some family questions. Was the first time I talked to him was at the combine because I didn't do anything Senior Bowl stuff or any of that. So we were just kind of some background questions about my family, about my past 2 years, and they put me up on the board a little bit and watched some tape, some good plays I remember, and some of them are bad. So just kind of want to know my thought process and just being honest up there. And I remember drawing up a play. I think they put it against cover 2. I drew up a play. So.
Drake, when we were just meeting with Jerod and Eliot, Jerod said that, he wanted to make it clear that you're not coming in as the starter and that you knew that. What was that conversation like, and what's your understanding on that?
Yeah, they asked me, Coach, they asked me, in front of, just me in front of a bunch of coaches and just, I think my first thing is just help any way I can contribute. I'm prepared and be ready to be the starter. But at the same time, I think that as a young guy coming in there, it's not given to you. You got to earn it. The NFL is someplace you got to work your butt off. And my job is to go in there and earn the guys' respect. Help whoever is a starter. If I'm not, be the best player they can and help this team win.
Next question, Taylor Kyles.
Greg, first of all, congratulations. Welcome to New England. Watching your film, man, one of the things that stood out was your ability to attack the entire field, inside and outside. So I'm curious, say it's 4th and 7 with the game on the line, whether it's a concept or a route, what would you say is your bread and butter play that you feel really comfortable with?
Yeah. No doubt, I think throwing up some over across the middle. I think, I got to see it well. I'm big 6'5" dude back there where it's a seam shot, big dig, in the corner routes, corner post, anything across the middle of the field. I feel like, I'm can make a throw, make all the throws, and I'm excited to, if it's not there, I can go make a play for myself. So I think that's the most looking forward to it and helping kind of expand that game into the NFL.
Appreciate it. Congratulations again.
Appreciate it.
Go Tyler Bronski.
Drake, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you, Tyler. What's up?
Awesome, man. Congrats. Welcome to New England. I'm curious if you're the type of guy that feeds off outside noise, or you're the type that stays in his lane. It doesn't really motivate you. What's your mindset when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think control what I can control. That's the biggest thing. All the outside noise is, part of the media trying to make headlines. And the biggest thing for me is to worry about my play on the field and worry about my how I am as a teammate in the locker room and a man in the community. So that's what I'm worried about. All the outside noise, I think, comes with, my play on the field, and that's what I can control.
I'll take a couple final questions from inside the room. Karen Gregan?
Hey, Drake. Eliot Wolf said he appreciated and liked that you had an ability to elevate the players around you. How do you feel you're able to do that?
No doubt. I think that's a huge part of being a quarterback. You're the face of the team. They look to you, and my responsibility is to get the guys, get to know them personally. I think that's the biggest thing. Genuine relationships. That's kind of what I feed off of. Get to know the guys truly, because you may not be able to handle the different guys the same way. One guy you may be able to get on them a little bit, yell at them or be a little harder on them. Like some, back in North Carolina, some of the receivers I could do that, and some of the offensive linemen I was more kind of gentle and friendly and just picking them up. So get to know the guys personally. I think that's the biggest thing, and just be one of the guys. I think coming in there as a top 3 pick rookie, I think you kind of just stay humble and don't let that. Worry about my play on the field and then winning games, and that's not what I'm playing the game for. I talk about I love football, I love winning, and I think the biggest thing is I hate losing. Hate losing anything I do. It don't matter what it is.
John?
Thanks, Drake.
Drake, what can Patriot fans expect from you when you get here? Obviously, you're full of charisma. You're excited about this opportunity, but what can Patriot fans expect when you get here?
Yeah, a competitor and a winner. I think that's the main 2 things that come to mind. It don't matter if I'm racing you out the door or on the football field competing. I think I'm competing to win, and that's what Patriots Nation is about. That's what they know how to do, and I'm ready to come in and do that.
Alex Barth?
Drake, obviously just like a long few months here with the pre-draft process. I know you still have a lot of work ahead of you as you get to New England, but how does it feel just to have this portion of this offseason behind you now?
Yeah, it's it's awesome, actually. I think, it's a long process, straight from the season into working out for the combine, then pro day, then these visits. So it was an awesome experience, though. A lot of learning, a lot of get to know about the NFL, get to know about the league, and get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of awesome coaches and awesome players. But I'm excited to get to rookie minicamp, get to know the fellow Patriots, and just ready to get to Foxborough.
Take a final question.
Drake, you mentioned combine interviews in this process. What did you learn during the course of the interviews that you need to address before you take the field as a Patriot? Things that you have gained from that process that you'll now try to invest in improving yourself.
No doubt. I think the biggest thing I learned is just be myself. Don't change for the NFL. Don't change for anybody that's hating or downplaying me. Just be myself. Be who I am. I'm not going to change. You're getting Drake Maye. That's who I am. You are going to see it day in, day out. I may have not as much energy as I may sitting in one of those interview rooms as now, but one of the best days of my life. Can't thank Pat Nation enough, and the front office coach for trusting me, and I promise I won't regret it. And looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Drake. You've got quite a few other interviews to do tonight, so we're going to let you go. Thank you very much.
Sweet, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sweet.
All right, so our first time here from Drake Maye with the Patriots hat on, and I think two words come to mind right there, and it's high energy. You got high energy from Drake Maye right out of the chute, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, he should be excited. He's the third pick in the NFL draft. I didn't get drafted, so I can only imagine being the third pick in the draft. Like, you're excited. I think it's probably something he's anticipated for weeks. You look at the mock drafts. All right, well, of course, Caleb's going to Chicago, Jaden Daniels going to Washington. Like, if they're taking a quarterback, they're taking me. And you can see how ecstatic he is. I think that this town will embrace him and really like him, the energy that he brings.
Yeah, one of the things that I've heard about Drake Maye from somebody who knows him and has been around him, with the cameras off and the microphones off, is that he does still come across with sort of this Southern, young, again, he's 21 years old, sort of aw shucks demeanor. But the more you get to know him, and this is something that I understand the Patriots like about him, is that he's got a little bleep to him, is what a lot of people will tell you. He has an edge to him. Maybe part of that is being the youngest and smallest of a family that has a lot of competitive, big-time athlete brothers. I know the Patriots, I was told early in the process, they like the fact he's essentially the runt of the litter and had to keep up with those guys and had to scratch and claw for everything. So there's more edge to him than I think you saw there, and I think the team really likes that about him.
When you look at the personality, Brian, of Drake Maye, just based on that, you've been with Tom Brady, you've been with Mac Jones, you've been with myriad quarterbacks who you were a backup to or a starter in front of. I look at Drake Maye and I find him to be a different personality, similar to Mac, but a little bit different in that he's exuberant. It's hard because a quarterback does have to call people on their BS.
Right.
Was Mac capable of doing that? And he was very, interestingly, Mac could be very self-involved in his own performance. We saw that in his first training camp here. You have to be able to be a different kind of leader. Just based upon that, what do you see different from Drake Maye as opposed to Mac Jones, just based on that tiny sampling?
Yeah, I see the comparison, a little bit of that exuberant energy. Mac was a little more toned down, but I think for me, you mentioned, you have to be able to call people out. Well, no rookie quarterback is calling anybody out. I think you're going to earn that respect, and eventually you get to there. But the thing that I learned, watching Tom, obviously he had earned all that respect, but when I came as a rookie, he had already won 3 Super Bowls. But he was great at knowing how to handle each individual player. He knew that he could jump on Julian, but he knew he had to put his arm around, a Taylor Price. He knew he was such a great people person, and he knew, I can jump on this guy, but I better put my arm around this guy. And I think that comes with time, and I think that comes with maturity. And so you mentioned 21 years old. I do love the fact that he's the youngest of 4 boys. His dad was a college football player, a college quarterback. Brother was a college basketball player. That just, to me, just talks about it breeds competitiveness, right? And as a quarterback position, you have to be the ultimate competitor. I think that's what this town saw for 20-some years in Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, but the most competitive person. We see the stories about throwing the Nintendo remote. He and I would go back and forth in cornhole. We would be doing throwing competitions. Anything that he could compete on, that's what he wanted to do, and I'm sure Drake probably has that with his 3 older brothers. So
every quarterback has a camp around him, has a village around him. We saw it with Mac. throwing coach. We saw it with Tom Brady and his family. We've seen it, with Jaden Daniels. We've seen it with Caleb Williams. Do you think there's an advantage to having a group around you, a camp that is made up of people like, suck it up. You're a professional athlete, just like your brother Luke, just like I was. I think there could be an advantage to that with Drake Maye.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think, as Bill would sometimes say, the game's not too big for him. I don't think, coming to the NFL, I think that's probably a dream that he's had. I don't think that this is going to be too big for him. When he gets his chance to play, I think you talked about him, just surviving, being the youngest of 4 boys, and I'm sure they were big boys. He's a big kid, so he probably got tossed around a little bit, and I think that toughens you up. That toughens you up and gives you that competitiveness.